procrastination isn't a habit, it's a story we tell ourselves, and today I want you to rewrite that story. Think about that for a second. Every time we put off that task, that dream, that phone call, we're feeding a story. And it might sound something like this: I'll get to it later, I'll wait until I feel more ready, I'll start tomorrow. But really, those words are the lullabies of procrastination. They soothe us, they keep us comfortable, they keep us exactly where we are. But here's the thing, nothing ever grows in comfort zones. Think of this: every time you tell yourself, I'll start later, you're building a wall between you and your potential. You're carving out a story that holds you captive, not out there in the world, but right inside your mind. I'm not ready yet, I'm not the kind of person who does this. It's too overwhelming. It's so easy to get pulled into these thoughts, to settle into these well-worn grooves, to get trapped in a cycle of delay, doubt, and regret. But let me tell you something, you are not your doubts, you are not your fears, and you are certainly not your procrastination. Because underneath that layer of I can't or not yet, there's a deeper truth one that doesn't rely on your fears, your past, or your... So I want you to think about this for a moment. What story are you telling yourself? Maybe it's the story that I'm too busy, or I'm just not a productive person, or the classic I'll get to it when I feel motivated. But here's what I want you to ask yourself with honesty and compassion: are these beliefs or are they excuses? Because more often than not, they're just masks we wear because we're scared. We're scared of failure, we're scared of success, we're scared of judgment. And yes, sometimes we're even scared of our own greatness. And here's where it gets powerful: you don't have to believe every story you tell yourself. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and decided, I'm done believing in limitations. Imagine if you approached every task, every goal, every moment as a chance to break free of the old stories. Because here's the truth: procrastination is a choice. And when you understand that, you're free. Think about how freeing it would be to live in that space of possibility. When you stop being weighed down by fear of failure or perfectionism, or the need to know every single step before you begin. When you let go of those constraints, suddenly you start to feel lighter. Life feels less like a burden and more like a playground of possibility. So here's a little exercise for you. Think of one thing you've been putting off. That one task, that one dream, that one idea you keep saying you'll get to someday. Now imagine if just for today you let go of the story that's holding you back from it. Whatever that story may be: I'm not ready, it's not the right time, I don't have the skills. Just set it aside, like taking off an old coat. And in its place, put on something new, a fresh story that says, I am ready, right here, right now. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have to know every detail, but it means you show up fully and completely with what you have. Because sometimes all it takes to break the cycle of procrastination is that one bold step in a new direction. And once you've taken that step, the path reveals itself. Now, you might be wondering, but what if I fail? And I'm here to tell you, so what? Failure is simply feedback. It's information. It's a lesson in disguise. If you're not failing from time to time, you're probably not stretching far enough, reaching high enough, or growing into your full potential. Each misstep, each stumble, each mistake is just part of the journey. And here's a beautiful truth I want you to carry with you. You are allowed to rewrite your story as many times as you need. You're allowed to make as many drafts as you want. Because life is not a final draft, it's a series of revisions, adjustments, and expansions and expansions. Picture yourself looking back years from now, seeing all the things you accomplished because you decided to stop believing in the limitations you once placed on yourself. Visualize the pride you'll feel, the joy, the satisfaction of knowing you took control of your story. And remember, that future starts here, in this very moment, with this very choice to release the old narrative of procrastination and embrace a new story of action and purpose. So I'll leave you with this. What would your life look like if you stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started making every moment perfect? What you avoid today becomes a weight on your spirit tomorrow. Think about that for a moment. Every task, every goal, every conversation you push off becomes a small pebble added to the load you carry. And each time you add to that load, it doesn't just disappear into the past. It sits with you, silently, invisibly, yet undeniably real, pressing down on your spirit. And here's the thing that weight compounds. Imagine it like this: each time you choose to avoid something, it's like placing a small stone in a backpack. At first it feels light, easy to ignore, but as days pass and stones keep accumulating, what once felt like nothing now feels like a burden you're carrying with you everywhere. You wake up with it, go to sleep with it, try to run from it, but the weight is there. So why do we do it? Why do we keep adding to the load? The answer lies in one of the most common stories we tell ourselves. It's easier to put it off, I'll get to it later, but the truth is, every step we delay only adds to that burden. And here's the paradox: while avoidance may feel like relief in the moment, in the long run, it's what drains us most. But today, let's flip that script, because every step forward, no matter how small, lifts that weight and brings you closer to your true potential. Let me ask you this: have you ever felt the weight of an unfinished task pulling at you? Maybe it's a project you've delayed for weeks, or a phone call you've been meaning to make. You can be out at dinner having the best time, and still somewhere in the back of your mind there's this subtle discomfort, this sense of, I should really be doing that. That's the weight I'm talking about. It's subtle, but it's persistent. So here's a powerful truth-taking action today is like lifting a piece of that weight off your shoulders. Each time you take a step forward, each time you move toward a task you've avoided, you reclaim a part of your energy, your focus, your spirit. And what you'll find is that often it's the small steps that make the biggest difference. It's the little wins, the moments of forward motion, that start to change your entire momentum. Here's something else to consider. What would your life look like if you took on this new mindset? Instead of looking at your to-dos with dread, what if you saw them as opportunities to unburden yourself? Because that's what they are. They're stepping stones to a lighter, freer version of you. Now let's get practical. I want you to think about one thing you've been putting off, just one. Don't overthink it. It might be something small like organizing a cluttered drawer, or something bigger like making a difficult phone call. I want you to hold that one task in your mind and ask yourself this question: what will it feel like when this weight is gone? Let yourself imagine that feeling of freedom. Imagine how it would feel to have that task behind you, to know it's done, to feel that sense of accomplishment and release. Because here's the beautiful thing: once it's done, it no longer has power over you. Once you've faced it, the weight dissolves. And that's the magic of momentum. The first step is the hardest, but each one after becomes easier, lighter, filled with more energy. The more you clear, the more space you create for the things that truly matter. The things that bring you joy, purpose, fulfillment. Now, you might be thinking, well, I have some tasks that just feel too big to take on, but here's a secret: you don't have to take on the whole mountain at once. Start with a small piece, just one action, one step. Break it down. Each little step chips away at the weight, lightening your load, making it easier to breathe, to move, to live. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Let's dive a little deeper. Maybe some of the things you avoid aren't just about tasks. Maybe they're about growth, about stepping into a new version of yourself. Maybe you avoid having that difficult conversation because you fear conflict. Maybe you avoid taking that leap because you doubt your abilities. But here's what I want you to remember: every action you take toward growth, no matter how small, is an act of self-respect. Think of it like this: the universe doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. The more you step up, the more the world steps up to meet you. Every small action creates a ripple effect. You never know where it will lead. That one step you take today could open doors you never imagined. But you'll never know unless you move forward. So I invite you to see procrastination for what it truly is: a weight, an anchor that holds you back from your highest self. It's not a friend, not a relief, it's resistance to growth, a thief of potential. And the only way to break free of it is to act, even in the smallest way. Because each time you choose to face what you've avoided, you strengthen the muscle of courage, of self-trust, of resilience. And let's get real: life is short. Every day you delay is a day you could be living with more freedom, more joy, more purpose. Every small action you take lifts the weight on your spirit, inch by inch, bringing you closer to that beautiful potential that's waiting to be expressed. So what will you choose? Will you keep carrying the weight, or will you take that first step today? The choice is yours. Imagine if you saw every task as an opportunity for growth. Just imagine the power in that perspective. Suddenly it's not about the task itself, but about the transformation that happens within you each time you rise to meet it. You know, every one of us faces things we'd rather avoid. There's always that project, that email, that conversation we put off. And it feels heavy, doesn't it? Like some burden we carry whispering in our ear, not yet, maybe tomorrow. But what if I told you that every task is a doorway? Each task we encounter isn't just something on a to-do list. It's an invitation. It's the universe's way of saying, here's a chance for you to step up, to see what you're truly capable of, to grow beyond who you were yesterday. So instead of seeing a task as something to dread, imagine it as a doorway to transformation. You see, every time we choose to meet a task head-on, to lean into it instead of running away, we're rewriting our story. We're stepping out of our old limitations and into a new reality. And here's the truth: we're always either growing or shrinking. There's no middle ground. Each time we choose to act, to engage with our responsibilities and our goals, we're saying yes to growth, to expansion, to becoming more of who we were meant to be. Think about it this way. Have you ever had a day where you finally tackled something you've been avoiding, maybe something you'd convinced yourself you didn't have time for? And do you remember that feeling afterward? That lightness? That freedom? That wasn't just because the task was done. That was because you'd taken a step forward in your own evolution. You'd become a little bigger, a little stronger, a little more resilient. And that feeling, that's the taste of growth. Here's the key: growth isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, even when you'd rather be somewhere else. Because every single task, no matter how small, has the potential to teach you something. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's resilience, maybe it's the art of staying present, or the courage to try again when things don't go as planned. And let's get real life will keep presenting us with opportunities to grow until we take them. So those tasks you keep putting off, they're not going anywhere. They're simply waiting for you to realize that they're there to help you, to challenge you, to shape you. Let's look at this practically. Think of something simple, maybe doing the dishes, tidying up, responding to an email. These might seem like chores, just things to get through. But what if instead we saw them as moments of mindfulness? Little pockets of time where we can be fully present, fully engaged, fully alive. Even in those small moments, there's an opportunity for growth. When you approach something like washing dishes with attention, you're building patience. When you respond to that email you've been avoiding, you're practicing courage because you're facing a little discomfort and overcoming it. Every little action is a chance to cultivate qualities within yourself. It's like this: imagine you're a sculptor and every task is a chisel, slowly carving out your best self. Each time you pick up that chisel and do the work, you're shaping the person you're becoming. And you don't have to see the finished sculpture right now. You just have to trust that each stroke is bringing you closer. So what would it look like if you approached every task as a chance to become the person you're meant to be? Think about how your day would transform. Instead of looking at your to-do list and feeling overwhelmed, you'd look at it and think, wow, look at all these opportunities to grow. That's a shift in energy. That's a shift in perspective. And it's powerful. Here's an exercise for you. Think about the next thing you have to do, the next call you need to make, the next errand you need to run, the next project you need to complete. Take a moment and ask yourself, what's the opportunity here? Maybe it's a chance to practice discipline. Maybe it's a chance to learn something new. Maybe it's a chance to overcome a fear. Whatever it is, see if you can view the task through that lens of growth. Let it be something that stretches you, something that pushes you just a little beyond your comfort zone. Because ultimately it's not about the task at all, it's about the person you're becoming. Every challenge, every task, every step forward, these are the building blocks of who you're meant to be. And the beauty is, when you start seeing things this way, life becomes so much richer. You're no longer running from your to-do list or dreading your responsibilities. You're meeting them head on, knowing that each one is a stepping stone toward your greatest self. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what would happen if I saw every single task as an opportunity for growth? How would I approach my life? How would I show up differently? Because when you start to see each task as a chance to grow, you're no longer just living life, you're transforming through it. You're actively participating in your own evolution, one step, one task, one moment at a time. Think about that. Let that sink in. And when you're ready, take that first step, because this is your journey, your life, your transformation. And every task, every responsibility, every challenge, they're all here to help you on your way. Your mind is a powerful tool, one of the most powerful tools in existence. It can dream up new worlds, transform obstacles into victories, and turn whispers of what if into thunderous action. But here's the thing, it's only as powerful as the thoughts you feed it. You see, when you fill it with reasons to wait, reasons to hold back, to stall, to delay, you dim that light. You put a cover over that power. Imagine that your mind is like a car, a vehicle ready to take you anywhere you want to go. But every time you say not yet or later, it's like putting the brakes on over and over. You're telling this powerful, unstoppable engine, hold on, let's not move. And guess what? It responds exactly as you instruct it. So what does it do? It stalls, it goes idle, and it doesn't take you anywhere. But what if, instead of giving your mind reasons to wait, you fed it reasons to go forward, to act? Imagine the possibilities that would unfold. We've all had those moments when we catch ourselves saying, I'll do it when I feel ready, but let's be real, the feeling of ready is an illusion. It's the mind's way of keeping us comfortable. And while comfort feels safe, it's a very small, limited place. It's like sitting in a room where the walls are closing in. Sure, it feels cozy for a while, but soon it starts to feel cramped, suffocating. And that's because we aren't meant to stay in our comfort zones. We're here to grow, to expand, to see what's out there beyond those four walls. So let's shake things up a bit. Instead of waiting for readiness, what if we chose action? What if right now we decided to embrace the present moment? Because this moment right here, right now, is all we truly have. And when you start taking action in the now, watch how life responds. Doors open, paths you couldn't have predicted reveal themselves. Opportunities start showing up as if the universe was just waiting for you to take that first step. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to stop waiting. We've all had times when it feels almost impossible to get started. But ask yourself this, what are you waiting for? Is it a sense of certainty, some magical feeling of confidence? It's a sign from the universe. Let me tell you, those signs often come disguised as moments of uncertainty, moments where you have no idea what the outcome will be. That's your invitation. The mind loves structure, it loves predictability, it loves a nice, clear plan. But life isn't always like that, is it? Life is more like a river than a road. It bends, it flows, it takes unexpected turns. And when you try to cling to the banks, to stay safe and unmoving, you miss the beauty of that flow. Sometimes you just have to step into the current, even if you don't know exactly where it's going to lead. So let's take this concept and bring it right down to a practical exercise. Picture that one thing you've been putting off. Maybe it's a project, a conversation, an idea you've been nurturing but not acting on. Now feel that hesitation, that doubt, that uncertainty. It's natural. But now I want you to tell your mind, thank you for wanting to protect me, but we're moving forward anyway. Don't wait for everything to line up perfectly. Just take a small step. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's 5 minutes of work. Maybe it's sitting down to write the first line. And here's where it gets interesting. When you take that first step, your mind starts to shift. Suddenly you're in motion. You're no longer thinking, can I do this? Instead, you're doing it. And that shift, that movement creates its own momentum. You start to realize that the fear, the resistance, was just a shadow, an illusion that disappears the moment you step into it. Because here's the truth, the mind doesn't respond to hesitation, it responds to action. You feed it action and it will give you more action. Feed it doubt and it will feed you reasons to stop. It's really that simple. Think about it. The mind is a problem-solving machine, always looking for things to work on. But when you fill it with thoughts of delay, hesitation, maybe tomorrow, it just gets tangled up in that energy, stuck in a loop of inactivity. It's like putting fuel in a car but never turning the key. All that potential energy just sitting there waiting. But once you start, once you commit to taking action, the mind kicks into gear. It stops analyzing, stops doubting, and starts moving. And in that movement, You find clarity, you find strength. You find a version of yourself that doesn't need everything to be perfect, a version that is comfortable with the unknown, that thrives on the journey instead of waiting for the destination. Let's think of the greats, those people who inspired us, who left their mark on the world. Do you think they waited until they felt completely ready? Do you think they waited until the timing was perfect? I doubt it. They took a step, even in their uncertainty, even in their fear, and trusted that the path would reveal itself, because they understood that life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards courage. When you show up to life with courage, when you tell your mind, I'm here to create, to explore, to expand, life takes notice. It mirrors that energy right back at you, sending opportunities, ideas, insights. It's almost like magic, but it's not magic, it's just the natural law of momentum. When you move, life moves with you. So let's go back to that powerful statement, your mind is a tool, stop giving it reasons to wait. Your mind is here to serve you, to help you build, to help you grow. But like any tool, it's only as effective as the hand that wields it. You have to guide it, direct it, feed it thoughts of possibility, thoughts of action, thoughts of I'm ready right now. Now, I know this may sound radical, but I want you to embrace this idea that now is always the right time. When you make peace with that idea, you begin to see that you don't have to wait for the stars to align. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need every answer. You just need to start with the faith that each step will reveal the next. And as you begin this journey, notice how your mind responds. Notice how it begins to work with you rather than against you, how it starts to look for ways to support your actions rather than reasons to hold back. It becomes a partner, an ally, a source of strength rather than a source of doubt. And that's when you'll know you've taken control. Because here's the secret to it all, life responds to your energy, to your commitment, to your willingness to be in motion. When you stop waiting, life stops waiting. When you act, life meets you halfway, handing you the tools, the insights, the opportunities you need. It's as if the whole universe says, finally, you're ready, let's go. So what will it be? Will you let the mind keep you in neutral, or will you shift into gear and start moving forward one powerful step at a time? Remember, this is your journey. This is your life. Don't let it pass you by because you're waiting for some mythical right moment. The right moment is now. Clarity fuels action, and action builds momentum. You see, there's something magical that happens when you get clear on your why. It's like a light switches on, illuminating the path in front of you. Obstacles that once seemed so large begin to shrink. Fears that held you back fade away. You find yourself moving forward, not with hesitation, but with power, with purpose, and with an energy that feels unstoppable. Now, take a moment and think about it. Why do you want what you want? It's a big question, one that goes beyond surface answers, because it's easy to say, I want to be more productive, or I want to stop procrastinating. But why? What's the real reason underneath those goals? Dig a little deeper. Often we find that the reasons that truly motivate us are those that stir our souls, those that touch something deeper than just wanting to get more done. There's a drive, a purpose, a vision for who you want to be. Here's the truth: when you are clear on your why, your actions follow naturally. You don't have to force yourself into productivity. You don't have to struggle against procrastination, because the energy behind your actions comes from a deep-rooted clarity. And that clarity acts like a magnet, pulling you forward. Imagine standing at the base of a mountain you're about to climb. If your why is vague or uninspiring, like, I think I should climb this mountain because other people think I should, you'll find excuses, reasons to wait. You'll get distracted by every twist and turn. But if you're climbing because there's something powerful driving you, like the desire to reach a breathtaking view, to experience what lies beyond the summit, then each step becomes fueled by that inner vision. It's no longer just a mountain, it's the path to something meaningful, something that lights you up. And here's a little secret about momentum. It's not about starting with a massive burst of effort. No, momentum is built step by step. Each small action taken in alignment with your why creates a ripple, and that ripple grows. It builds into a wave of energy that propels you forward almost effortlessly. Every small win adds fuel to the fire, making it easier to keep going. But none of this happens without clarity. Instead, it becomes a part of who you are. When your why is clear, the path becomes more like an invitation than an obligation. Take a moment right now to visualize a goal you've been putting off. Really picture it. Don't think about all the tasks or the steps just yet. Focus on the outcome. What will it feel like when you accomplish this goal? What will it mean for you? Let that feeling, that image sink in. That's your why. That's what's waiting for you on the other side of every moment of procrastination, every distraction, every self-doubt. You see, the clearer that picture becomes, the less room there is for doubt, for hesitation. Clarity has this beautiful way of clearing out the noise, removing all those little thoughts that tell you maybe tomorrow or maybe I'm not ready yet. It allows you to see beyond the fog and connect with the part of you that really knows what you're here to do. And here's where the magic happens. When you're clear on your why, you don't wait for motivation, because you don't need motivation, you need alignment. Motivation is fleeting. It's based on mood, on inspiration, on momentary feelings. But alignment, that's something else entirely. When you're aligned with your purpose, the path becomes clear. It's like you're being pulled forward, not by effort, but by the energy of your vision. So let's talk about a practice, a way to ground this clarity and turn it into action. I want you to take 5 minutes every morning, just 5 minutes, and reconnect with your why. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and visualize your goals as if they're already achieved. Feel the joy, the pride, the sense of accomplishment. Let those feelings fuel you, remind you, awaken something in you, because here's the beautiful truth that vision is already within you. It's not somewhere out there, it's right here, waiting for you to bring it into reality. Imagine the impact of that small daily practice. Imagine how 5 minutes a day spent reconnecting with your why could transform your energy, your actions, your productivity. Because when you get clear, every single step you take builds momentum. You don't get bogged down in overthinking and second guessing. You simply move forward one step at a time, fueled by the power of your vision. And remember, you don't need all the answers right now. You don't need to see every detail of the path, because here's the thing about clarity. It doesn't mean knowing every single step. It just means knowing where you're going. It's about holding on to that inner compass, that feeling, that drive that's pulling you forward. Clarity doesn't eliminate the unknowns, it just makes them less intimidating. It allows you to step into the unknown with confidence because you're connected to something bigger than any single obstacle. So here's a question for you. What's your why? What's the deeper reason behind your goals, the one that lights you up inside? And if you're not sure, that's okay. Take some time, get quiet, reflect. Because once you find that why, once you connect with it, you'll find that productivity isn't something you have to chase. It's something that flows naturally, effortlessly from a place of deep alignment and clarity. Let that clarity be your guide. Let it fuel every action, every choice, because when you're clear on your why, the path to productivity truly does unfold effortlessly before you. And there's no force on earth more powerful than a person who is clear, focused, and moving with purpose. Your purpose is waiting for you on the other side of hesitation. Right there on the other side of that voice that whispers, wait, not yet, or I'm not ready, is everything you've ever wanted. And here's the truth, the greatest things in life lie just beyond that first step. Let that sink in for a moment. Think of the magic in that first step, the incredible power that's unleashed when you simply say, I'm going to begin. It's a choice. And in that choice lies an energy that defies explanation, that pushes you forward even when the destination isn't clear. Because you know what? Purpose doesn't unfold in the moments when you stand still. Purpose unfolds in movement. It unfolds in action. It reveals itself when you have the courage to leap without needing to see the entire path. Imagine standing on a ledge looking out at the landscape of your dreams, and every doubt, every hesitation is telling you to stay put, to wait. But on the other side of that hesitation, there's a bridge that appears the moment you step forward. Each step reveals the path. You won't see it all at once, but you don't need to. The path wasn't created for you to see the whole journey in advance. It was created for you to experience in the act of walking it. Let's talk about that hesitation for a moment, the voice of hesitation that we all know too well. But what if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if I don't have what it takes? These questions, these doubts, they're the keepers of comfort. They're the walls that stand between you and the life you're meant to live. And yet so many of us spend our lives listening to these voices, standing right there on the threshold of our dreams, too afraid to move forward. But think about this, hesitation doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means you're stepping into something greater. Here's something: to hold on to your purpose doesn't require perfection, it just requires your participation. Purpose isn't about waiting for every fear to dissolve, for every doubt to be silenced. Purpose is about taking that first step in spite of your fears, in spite of the voices that tell you to hold back. Let me share a little secret with you. Your purpose will always call to you from beyond your comfort zone. It will never be satisfied with complacency. It will nudge you, tug at you, whisper to you in those quiet moments, reminding you that there's more waiting for you. And that hesitation? It's just the last bit of resistance before you break through to the other side. Think about a time in your life when you were hesitant, but you took the leap anyway. Maybe it was a decision, a relationship, a project, a dream you'd held for years. Think about the courage it took to step into that unknown. And think about what you gained because of it: growth, strength, wisdom, a new chapter of your life. Those things would never have come into your life if you hadn't taken that first step. That's the beauty of moving beyond hesitation. Every step is an invitation to become more of who you truly are. Let's be real, there's a part of you that's always known you're meant for more. That part of you that dreams bigger, that feels like it's here for something greater, something meaningful. And when you hesitate, you're not protecting yourself from failure, you're just delaying the journey to becoming that version of you. Every moment spent in hesitation is a moment you're keeping your purpose waiting. time to ask yourself, how long will I keep my purpose waiting? Here's a little exercise I want you to try. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the you that exists on the other side of hesitation. Visualize yourself free from the fear of failure, free from doubt, moving with ease and grace. Imagine yourself waking up every day with clarity, with purpose, with a sense of calm certainty that you're on the right path. Hold that image in your mind, feel it in your heart. Because that version of you, it's already there waiting for you. All it needs is for you to take that first step. And here's the powerful part: you don't have to know every answer to take that step. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to be certain of every single outcome. All you need is the willingness to begin. Purpose doesn't reveal itself to those who wait for the perfect moment. Purpose reveals itself to those who are willing to move forward in faith, to embrace the journey with an open heart, and to trust that each step will reveal the next. Think about how liberating that is. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. You don't have to see the entire path, you just have to see the first step. Because when you move with intention, when you let go of hesitation, life rises up to meet you. Doors open, opportunities present themselves, people show up to support you, but none of this happens while you're standing still, waiting for some mythical right time. The right time is right here, right now. Here's a question for you. What are you waiting for? And I don't mean that in a harsh or judgmental way. I mean it as a genuine invitation to look within and ask yourself, what am I waiting for? What would it take for you to trust yourself enough to take that first step? What story would you have to let go of to step into the life that's waiting for you? Because here's the truth, the only thing standing between you and your purpose is the story you're telling yourself. The story that says you're not ready, that you're not worthy, that you don't have what it takes. But that story is just a story, and you have the power to rewrite it. Right now, in this very moment, you can choose a new narrative. You can choose to tell yourself, I am ready. I am enough. I am worthy of my dreams. And when you say those words, when you feel the truth of them, something shifts. That hesitation begins to dissolve, and you start to feel the pull of your purpose. Let me ask you this, if not now, when? If not this moment, then which moment? Because every day you wait, every moment you hesitate is a moment you're choosing to stay where you are. But life isn't waiting for you to be ready. Life is ready for you to step into it. So here's what I want you to remember. Your purpose is already within you. It's not out there somewhere in the future waiting to be discovered. It's right here in this very moment calling you forward. It's that feeling that stirs in your heart when you think about what you truly want. It's that spark of excitement, that surge of energy, that whisper that says, this is it, and it's waiting for you to say yes. Every single person listening right now has a purpose that's as unique as they are. A purpose that only they can fulfill, a gift that only they can bring to the world. And here's the beautiful part, you don't have to have all the answers to live that purpose. You just have to be willing to take the first step. And with each step, the journey will unfold. It won't always be easy, it won't always be clear, but it will always be worth it. So I invite you to let go of hesitation, to step boldly into the unknown, to trust that life will meet you there. Embrace the mystery, embrace the uncertainty, and let it guide you to places you never imagined. Because the life that's waiting for you, it's closer than you think. All it needs is for you to say yes, to take that first step, and to watch as the journey unfolds in ways you could never have planned. Now is your time. Take that step. Embrace the journey. Let your purpose unfold.